Hi, everybody. I'm Christine Uhen, the practice strategist with the Dentist Advisor team, and I am here to welcome you to our educational program that we're calling the 5 Points of Productivity. And we're here to help you grow your top line and increase the productivity in your dental practice.
Consult an advisor or conduct your own due diligence when making financial decisions. General principles discussed during this program do not constitute personal advice. This program is furnished by Dentist Advisors, a registered investment advisor.
Welcome, everybody, to Dentist Advisor's educational information program about how to grow your top line productivity. For us, it's what we call the 5 Points of Productivity. It's patience, diagnostics and treatment planning, getting patients to say yes, measuring case acceptance, helping patients fund and finance the dentistry that they want and deserve, and then how to get it on the schedule. After decades of working with dental practices, we've got experience with understanding how to grow businesses. Yes, collections pay the bills. Yes, profitability and EBITDA and value of your business is important. But until you grow the top line, none of the other ones can actually grow. So we're going to focus today simply on growing and increasing your productivity. This does not mean just getting busier. There's some thought, planning, intention, and strategy around it. So we're going to break down those 5 points and go into a little bit more detail. So the first one being patience, bodies in the chair. So that's both new patients and then your recall or reactivation strategy. So let's start out with new patients. A good benchmark, a great rule of thumb is that for every full-time dentist in a general dental practice, you want 25 to 30 new patients each month. So that's a good average to think about. So some tips on some new patient growth. Number one, get help with this. This is not something that should be dabbled with. We are definitely, in a changing time constantly. All of the marketing information is changing. How people get information, how people make decisions about how they choose a dentist or any healthcare provider constantly is changing as well. So please get some help with this. If you're interested in getting our recommendations as dentist advisors, we're happy to connect you with some of the teams that we have vetted and feel will do a great job for you. But let's take this internal for a minute. Internal referrals, meaning patients of record that refer other patients to you, are just little nuggets of gold. They are happy patients. They like you. They come on time. They accept their dentistry, and you want more people just like them. That means you have to ask. So measuring the number of patients that come from internal referrals is a critical, what I would call KPI, key practice indicator, a number that you really want to know. Where are you at with that? Is it 1 out of 10? That's the national average. That 1 out of 10 patients will refer somebody else. But if you intentionally and engage your team in creating great experiences for your patients, when they're happy, that's when they're likely to talk about it and talk about the experience and talk about you to their friends and family. So create a great experience. Where are they wowed in your office? And then ask. If someone gives you a compliment and says, this was easier than I thought it was going to be, that's a cue. That's your teeing up opportunity to say, we love what we do. We would love to take care of more people, but only if they're half as nice as you. Or come up with some line that works for you, or individually develop how you can be comfortable saying, we are accepting new patients and we'd love to take care of your friends and family. So there's one tip with growing new patients, and it's relatively free. Right? And they're great patients when they're referred. So get professional help. Know it's 25 to 30 per full-time general dentist as a goal. And then also work towards growing your new patient numbers from internal referrals, not just from external advertising. So the second half of that bodies in the chair is about your recare, your recall, your reactivation. How are you making sure the patients are coming back? So again, ideally that is in hygiene. So we'll focus on that. In your recare strategy, 9 out of 10 of your patients that come in today for hygiene should be scheduled back for their next hygiene. That will take less administrative time for your team to get them back in. It's a commitment that the patient, at least at this point, still thinks of you as their dentist moving forward. But that system, again, can be very automated in terms of contacting patients moving forward with automated phone calls, automated text, and email messaging. So looking at that process of recall, reactivation, and hygiene alone, and simplifying that, strategizing that, automating that. AI is making huge impacts on that as well. So that system needs to be in place so it's not constantly needing new patients to come in, but it's also keeping the patients of record back in your practice. So that's productivity point number one, which is patients in the chair. Productivity point number two is about treatment planning, diagnostics, telling patients everything that's going on in their mouth, asking permission to do so, and then letting them know as if, make an analogy. If you were a family member, this is what I'd recommend that they do. But the truth is, you've got no chance of getting the patients to say yes if you don't offer them the opportunity. So that does take some confidence on the role of the dentist. And it also is about engaging the team to be about involved in presenting the dentistry. Are you taking photography of anything that is questionable? Adults are mostly, 80% of adults are learn by visual. So an x-ray, y'all went to school to learn how to read an x-ray. And patients will say, yes, I see it on an x-ray, when they really don't. So taking the time with photography, making sure that they understand consequences of not doing the treatment, being comprehensive in your diagnostics, but simply by being honest. It's one of the most important things that I learned as a consultant that multiple clients have said to me, you help me learn how to be honest with my patients. It's a tough job to tell people they've got something going wrong in their mouth, especially if it's not giving them any trouble. But you can be their advanced warning system. You can help them understand in the next few years, we're not sure exactly when, but this is at risk of breaking. This is at risk of getting worse. This is at risk of more work needing to be done in the future. So being confident in your treatment planning, being honest with your patients, looking them in the eye, saying, if this was a family member, this is what I would recommend for you. So tracking that is going to be critical as we look at the third point of growing productivity, which is moving patients to say yes. Tracking that case acceptance, I will tell you, this is probably the most misunderstood and misused measurement of success, case acceptance as a percentage. So for example, if you diagnosed $10,000 worth of dentistry in a week and got $10,000 accepted, you'd be 100% case acceptance. And yet, if what you needed to make your productivity goals was $15,000, then you're at 100% case acceptance, but it's not doing your business any good. So this comes back to understanding what you need to produce to be effective and successful as a business. So that is your target. Your case acceptance doesn't have to be a percentage. It doesn't have to be, 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, 9 out of 10, these things that we read in journals. It's about, did I diagnose enough that if 1 out of 2 said yes, I'd be at my goal. So this is where it becomes critical to track how much you're diagnosing, how much is being accepted, and is what's being accepted enough to make your business goals. So that's where it starts with just the tracking of it. And then understanding, 1 out of 2 do say yes. So I should be diagnosing twice what I want to produce. And if it's 1 out of 3, then it's 3 times. If it's every single person, I'm going to say, maybe we're not. And if you're not making your goal, then you need to look at the diagnostic side. And can we grow the diagnostics? Because if people are saying yes to everything that you're recommending, then you just need more at-bats. So that ties back into, do I have enough patients in the chair? Am I diagnosing enough? And am I getting the treatment acceptance? So those all tie together just beautifully. And that's, again, 1, 2, and 3 in terms of how you're going to grow your top line. Number 4 is helping patients finance their work. Because again, they might agree with you. How many times have you had that happen where they say yes to you at the chair? We need to do this. I understand the value of doing this. And then somehow they didn't get scheduled. And it's because they couldn't afford it. They couldn't figure out, and here's a key phrase I want you to work into your languages, working this into their budget. Most patients are working on a budget. So figuring out and identifying what they can afford monthly, or if maybe they just want to break it into 2 payments, maybe they need to break it into 6 months of payments. So do you have ideally 3 different options where patients can make payments, breaking it into 2 at the beginning, at the end of the appointment sequence? Is it that you're willing to do maybe a 5% savings if they paid in full? If saving money is important to patients, that prepayment discount could really be a trigger for them to move forward. And do you have a long-term payment option so that they can make payments over time? So the financial options that work for the patient also need to work for you in the business. So this isn't, yes, I'll take $50 a month for 6 years. If you want to do that, then you would start the treatment in 6 years. But finding ways that are flexible, that you are there as their advocate, and your administrative team can be very supportive in saying, most of our patients have found that they can move forward with their care based on our financial options. So that level of confidence within your administrative team or clinical team, whoever's doing the financial arranging, is really critical. So that fourth piece of being more productive is helping your patients finance the work that they need and want to do. And this fifth component is in response to, again, decades of hearing doctors say, I've got a roller coaster of a schedule. So let's go back to creating consistency in productivity. And that last component of being, managing the schedule is to create a consistent schedule. So having worked with enough dental offices, the administrative team may understand that we've got a template and we need to follow that template. Well, if your template is the same, that there's high production in the morning only, I only see consults at 2:00 in the afternoon. If you have a very strict and rigid template, then you're creating the opportunity for the patient to be disappointed because you don't have the flexibility to have work done at any time on any day, or you're disappointed because your team members put them in the wrong spot. So having some flexibility in your template so that every day is designed still to meet your goal, but it may be different than the day before. So this goes back to understanding your goals. If you have a productivity goal, and we'll use a round number of 5,000 a day, then within your template, there needs to be a variety of appointments that are high production: crown, implant, multiple extractions, something that if I have that 2 or 3 of those, rocks is another way to look at those high production blocks, the big case type things. If I have enough of those, I'll make maybe 80% of my goal. But then I also have patients that have work that simply is not that productive, but they still need the work done. So I need to have some of those, as again, often called the pebbles. And then there are appointments that are non-productive. So the idea that you've got a balance of some high production, some of the little production, and some of the non-production every day. This is what I affectionately call Jenga. How do I move those pieces around on the board, but still every day I stay on time, I'm not crazy, and I make my production goals? And if I have perhaps a Monday, Wednesday template and a Tuesday, Thursday template, what you've now created is the opportunity for your team members to say yes to the patients. They've got busy schedules, so you're being accommodating to them without ruining your personal life, your team not being able to stay on time or not get lunch. Managing the template so that your administrative team can say yes to the patients and still say yes to you and your production goals and how you want to schedule your day is by creating multiple templates. So being able to say yes, that makes everybody happy with a scheduling template, is exactly what the gift you're giving your administrative team by having multiple templates. So those are our top 5, the 5 key points of productivity: growing your top line, patients in the chair, diagnostics and treatment planning at a rate that when people say yes, enough are saying yes, at a case acceptance percentage or dollar value that meets your production goals. You found ways to make it financially affordable for the patient to say yes and to help them schedule it that accommodates their busy schedule and still meets your productivity goals. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. If you found value in what you saw today and you're a client of Dentist Advisors, reach out to your advisor, find out how you can get connected with me, and we can apply all of this information directly to your practice. If you're not a client to Dentist Advisors, go to our website, dentistadvisors.com, click that yellow free consultation button, and make some time to meet with one of our financial planners and find out if Dentist Advisors can help you establish a wealth creation strategy for both your personal and your practice needs.